Hi there, this is part 2 of the Graphic 45 mystery box. I did the unboxing in part 1 and then we made a recipe book. In this one we're going to make these travel folios, and so this is the Christmas one. I was just showing you the sari silk that I got from Etsy, and anyway this has different panels and pockets. Got a little room there for pictures, lots of pockets and tags and tuck spots. Little paper clip, Christmas tree paper clip. A little tiny booklet I made you can journal in. And this is for sale in my Etsy shop. I'll put a link below. And I'm going to show you how to make your own here in a minute. We've got another pocket over here, a little postcard. I love the papers in this series. Then we have December 25th on the back there. That's the sari silk, so nice. Okay, and then this one is with the slice of life. And this one I altered a little bit. I made it a little bit smaller because the papers were 8.5 by 11 instead of 12 by 12, which we cut down, and I'll give you the measurements here in a minute. We got tags in there. To start this project, you're going to need 3 sheets of 12 by 12 paper. One is going to be your cover, and I'm going to use this one as my cover. And then the other 2 are going to be your inserts. It'll go into the panels of the cover. So you'll see as we get working what that means. So to cut those down, your cover, you need one cover that's going to be 12 by 8 inches. And then your 2 inserts are going to be 12 by 7.5. And then you need 4, I don't know why I wrote 2 originally, but you need 4 pockets that are going to be 4 by 3. However, with this paper kit, I have these nice cutouts. So these are just about, so that's a little bit over 4, and this is 3.5. So I think I'm going to try to make do with these since they're there at our disposal. But otherwise you could cut cardstock or some other paper that would be 4 by 3 for your pockets. So and this one, like I said, it has some lovely cut aparts. These we can use as our tags or our to put in our pockets, and then some of these. So this will be fun to decorate with, and it has some ephemera too. This is so it's called Vintage Market from Carta Bella, which is part of Echo Park. Now we'll go ahead and get started. We'll cut our cover first, and so what you want, I've got my Creative Memories cutter here. What you want to do is you want this to be your 12 inches across. So horizontally you want your 12 inches. So that means we're going to cut this way. And since it doesn't matter if I cut the top or bottom, I like them both. So I'm just trying to think a minute. If I cut although they're kind of not as cut off here. Maybe I will. I was going to say I don't have to cut the strip off if I'm going to cut the bottom off, but we'll go ahead and cut this strip off so we can see exactly the best place to cut. And so I am thinking, I kind of like how those are pretty full there. So this would be 8 inches. And I'm going to ink the edges so that little bit there won't matter. Okay. So we got this piece that is 12 by 8, and technically you could use this for pockets because we've got that on the reverse side, and that would be really pretty. Now our other 2 for our inserts, we are going to cut these at 7.5, 12 by 7.5. So either way, you're gonna end up cutting through some of these. So if we did this at 7.5, oh, I would cut all of those off and almost We do cut into that one too. Yeah, I should have figured to buy 3s there, so they're 4 inches. May make it a little bit over 7.5 to try to cut off the least amount. Okay. Yeah, I think that looks good. So that'll be our insert. It's pretty on the other side too. And then this one. So we want 7.5. Well, I got to make it the same as this. So what did we do here? It was, oh, it was almost up to 8. Maybe a little bit shy of 8. All right. I don't know why I'm putting that away. We do need to score next. So here's our 2 insert pieces. And then here's our cover. For our scoring, we need the cover should be scored at 5 inches and 10 inches, and then the insert pieces should be cut at 4 inches and 8 inches. Now I use my Creative Memories trimmer because you can switch the blades out, and always make sure you've got the right blade in for what you want to do, because there's nothing worse than thinking you're going to score and you end up cutting. So just a little precaution there. Okay. So for our cover piece, well, those aren't going to be much different, are they? I'm going to probably have to cut those other ones down some. For our cover piece, we're going to do this at 5 and 10. And I want, so basically I want this to be the 5, because I want a 2 inch. It's going to look like a traveler folder. So I want this to give me the 2 inches. So I'm going to do this at 5. I hope it's making sense. We're going to score this at 5. And then at 10. Because what that does for us then is, this is our 5 inch and our 10 inch. So it gives us the cover we wanted. And then for the inserts, we're going to score them at 4 and 8, because they end up being an accordion. So we've got 4 here and 8. And then I'll get these started, and we'll have to play with it to see which side we want down. Okay, and then this one, same thing. We want to score it at 4 and 8, and I think I am probably going to have to cut these down to make them a little bit smaller than our cover. And 8, and it times out good. We're just about holding it right where our little squares are. Such pretty paper. I love it. Very vintage looking. All right, we're done with the trimmer for now, unless we have to trim these inside pieces some. So let's look at that. I'm checking to see if these inserts, the accordion inserts, are going to be too tall, and I think they are. We needed them at 7.5, remember, and I went a little bit over, so I do have to cut some off. And I like to use that little, the rubber mat in the trimmer. I go up to the edge, and that trims about 1/4 of an inch off. So I'm going to do the same with both of these. I'm just checking how I want to lay these out inside the cover. And then we're going to make a pocket out of it by putting glue on the sides and on the one edge. And then I'm going to take my 2-inch circle punch and I'm going to put a little notch in there. And that's optional. And if you don't have a circle punch, you can always use a small glass or the bottom of a wine glass and trace around and then cut. Now just to make them even, I'll use the other as a template. I am going to ink the edges with the Ranger Distressing ink. It's Vintage Photo. And it doesn't show up a lot on here because the papers are so dark, but it does take away those white edges where they were cut. We're going to attach the inserts and make a pocket out of it by just putting the glue on the sides and the bottom. You want to leave your top with the notch in it open. And I use my Barely Art glue because it dries fast and dries clear, but you can use any paper glue. And now we're going to do the same for the other side. And you can see I reversed the order I was going to put that in because with putting the pockets on, I wanted the stripes facing up. I took my bone folder to crease the edges. These papers are so thick they kind of pop up. Now we'll do our cut aparts, and you can either cut these with scissors if that's easier for you because they're not completely aligned. Like this one will be real simple because you're just going to cut here and here and here and then across that way. But this one's a little bit different because you've got this one here, you can't cut straight across. So that's what I like about this trimmer. Now you could just do it with your scissors and be safe that way. But what I like about this Creative Memories trimmer is you've got several ways to see your cut line. So right here is your cut line in your mat. And then there is a little white notch. I don't know if you can see that right there. There's a notch within that little white arrow that lines it up. And also, if that's not enough, then we have this little piece comes out of the top. There's one in the bottom and one in the top. And where that black line is where it should be lining up. Then to line up the side, you've got a little white line here that shows you where the cut's going to start. All right, so it just makes it easy for pieces like this that you can go ahead and cut it with your trimmer. Our first cuts are going to be pretty straight across and easy. And like I said, you can line it up. Looks like it needs to move over just a smidgen, and then you can pull up either the one from the bottom or the top and make sure that it lines up. And that looks like it might be a little bit over. And nope, that's pretty good. Okay. So we got that strip off, and then this one's going to be straight across as well. It's just a little bit harder to see when I'm videotaping because I don't want to block your view with my big head sticking in there. So then we got that one. Now we come to the one that is a little bit, you can't cut straight across. So one thing I can do is go ahead and line this piece up. We know we want to start it there. And then I can come down here without pressing. You can move this as much as you want as long as you're not pressing. It's not going to cut anything. Then I'm going to come here and line that up where that one starts. And I can press down and cut. And then that way it just cut this part. And I can turn it around, see? Then I can turn it around and come up this way. Actually, for this one, I can go ahead and go all the way up. We just have a little bit of an edge there wanting to hang on. finish that. And that's how you would do these odd aligned ones. And I'll go ahead and cut up all these and come right back. Now I have cut and inked all the pieces that I think I want to use, and I'm going to make tags now. So I like to use a tag as a template, especially with this double-sided paper, and it's very thick cardstock as well, so it can be a tag very easily. And then I take my hole puncher and punch the hole where it is in the template tag. I brought out some ribbon, and I think I'm going to punch some holes in some of these other pieces. And I made a little accordion piece to slip in one of the pockets there. Now I'm going to select a variety of ribbons and tie them in various ways just to give us some nice variety here. I've selected these 4 pieces for my pockets, and now I'm just deciding where to put it. This is where you can make it your own. So you could put the pockets on the outside of those flaps or the inside, and I've decided to put them on the inside here. I've decided to round the corners of my pockets, and this is totally optional. And then the more I thought about it, I thought, you know what? I think I do want to round the corners of my cover. So that's what I did here. I just think it gives it more of that travel journal look. Then, of course, I have to ink the edges where I cut them. And then we glue our pockets down by putting glue just on the sides and the bottom, leaving that top open to be able to slip our tags and things inside. And then I just go ahead and insert these select pieces into the pockets. Now I'm going to add some pieces into our side pockets here, and that one is 6 by 4, and I'll put this other little piece in there. And then this one I cut to 6 inches by 3 3/4. And then I slide our little accordion piece in there. And now this one wouldn't fit anywhere, but I really like it, so I take out one of my dear paper clips and clip it to the side there. I like to attach a tie to these just to keep them closed. And I bought some sari silk from Felt Better is the name of the shop on Etsy, Felt Better. And she sent me this whole bag of samples with my order. And so I'm just loving these. I'm going to order more from her. But I'm choosing now the best color. And I end up thinking that black really pops with the black in the papers, but you'll see I'm trying them all out here. Yes, and I put that as a very strong possibility, and I come back to it. The others just kind of, they matched, but they just kind of blended in. So I chose the black one, and now I'm just making sure we got enough room to tie it, and we do. So I want to get it centered. And then what I do is I go ahead and I glue it down to the back, and then I put some type of embellishment over top of that. And with this pack, it came with so many nice cut aparts, and that one, I end up using that one. I try a couple different ones, but spoiler alert, we go with that one. I just didn't think that was big enough. That was too dark. So I really like that one with the multiple colors in it. And it's nice and big to really secure that down. So that ribbon is not going anywhere. Now I want to embellish the front. So I bring out this nice ephemera that came with the kit. Start sorting through it to see what we might want to use on the front. I like that. Always remember. And I can maybe frame it. And then I've got Together and Family. I like that. I feel like this needs a little bit of a backdrop, so I'm going to use this burgundy stripe piece. And then I take the other end of my corner rounder. It has like a little area, it notches it out, but it was still too big, so I had to go back in. And since it won't show, I just went ahead and did a rough edging there. And then that way it's all covered up. And then I just add that as my little title plate. And then the Always Remember. And then I like this little Together and Family down at the bottom. Kind of fanned out. I found this burgundy banner piece and then this button, and I thought they would go nicely at the top there. And I just feel like buttons seem more finished if you put some ribbon through the holes. Except this ribbon didn't want to go through. So a little trick I found for that is to put some glue on the end and roll it, and then it's easier to thread. And then for the final touch, a little bit of bling, of course. I don't believe in part one that I showed you the little mini junk journals that I made with this mystery box. And so, of course, there's a lot of other inserts in here, but I decorated it with the pieces from Slice of Life. Also, please make sure that you subscribe, and I'm going to be making videos hopefully at least once a week. So please subscribe and also ring the little bell to be notified of when I upload the next one. I appreciate you. And now this one, I'm going to have to show you in still shots. I'll just make a little slideshow here. My friend came over and wanted to buy it, so I, of course, sold it to her, and I just snapped pictures really quick. So that's what we have here. And this is just a reminder of everything we were able to make out of that mystery box. Plus, I still have papers left over. So pretty amazing. Thanks for watching.